America, a country where freedom was every man's birthright, where a man answered to his conscience, not a royal oath. But over the years, we've traded away that freedom, one war and one government promise at a time. This is the Destroyercon show. If you felt that loss, if you noticed that the country is changing into something more controlled and bitter, then you already know why we're here. If you like what we say, please subscribe and share the show. Let's return to a nation conceived in liberty. Hello, everybody. It's been a little while, but welcome back to the Destroyercon show. I am Liam Childers, aka the Destroyercon, with my good friend and co-host Keller Williams. Keller, how was your Christmas hiatus?
It was really good. Very low key. I went to a wedding in Pittsburgh for another close friend of mine. Went down quite swimmingly. Got a lot of free drinks from his dad. That was great.
Nice. As it should be.
Real. I'm now part of their family now, so it's like we're right where we need to be.
Real. Mine went pretty well as well. About similarly. Just enjoying the holidays, kind of keeping an eye on some of the current events and everything, but not super engaged. So that was kind of nice. Speaking of events, I guess we have to talk a little bit about what happened while we were gone, which I feel like, I guess this is one of those issues. I'm always somewhat engaged with like the PR stuff, but sometimes I get so fed up with it I just can't be engaged, like keep up with the story, especially with this turning point stuff. People act like it's so important, and I think it's important, but it's just hard to keep up with because I don't think it's as important as people make it out to be. It's very much a publicity looking thing, outwards importance versus inwards importance.
Oh, for sure.
So, me as a cynic and kind of pessimistic about the whole thing is like, wow, that doesn't really matter. But you keep up with this. Are you still in Turning Point?
Yeah, very, very background stuff with our local chapter here.
Yeah.
I kind of just watch where everything is kind of going currently, and that's what kind of was going on with Amfest. I only kept up with a little bit of it just because it's really showing where, like, I don't even know what to call like this new generation of like right wing Gen Z, because it's like it's becoming a mixed bag
Oh,
of
yeah, it
like
really is.
like you get like these like e-girl like groypers there, but then you also still have like your Reaganites, and it's just like it's a mash of like different types of people
E-girl
basically.
Groiper? What is an e-girl?
Dude, I forget her name. It's like Ellie Maulding or something like that. She was there. There's a whole video of her like, I don't know, absolutely like tearing into this other girl about like got into like some kind of argument about like Nick Fuentes and like Hitler and stuff. But like now like women are getting into the Groyper movement and it's becoming a complete disaster. And I hate it.
Bro. I mean, as if it wasn't already a disaster to begin with.
It was already a
I
little bit of a
found this.
disaster.
I found this chick. Let's see.
But it's like worse now. It's becoming cringing gay instead of being like a boys thing.
Yeah, instead of being like a boys thing. So yeah, they don't understand the irony behind it. They don't. They just take things seriously at face value. I do think that this does speak somewhat to women's intuitions. They don't really search to see and verify things like I feel like I tend to do. But then again,
Well, that's why they're
I look at the whole human race, and I don't think they really do that either.
and that's why they're e-girls. Like they're just there for like clout and like to find a man because now they're being edgy. I know someone like this, and you know who I'm talking about. But like we won't say names. But
Okay.
like getting into like the like DR this and right stuff.
Yeah.
Women, it turns into a disaster because they're really just looking for attention, and yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
to find that esoteric right wing extremist boy to like sweep them off their feet so they can be like a trad cath, wife on a cottage, and it's like it's just super cringe,
It is really,
you know.
dude, it is really cringe. It is really cringe. Meanwhile, like, there's some of us who just uh want to get their feng shui in check and everything.
So true.
And I feel like, especially as like a Gen Z right winger, someone who is like actually at least somewhat engaged in this movement, I think I have the ability to say that at this point. I mean, I'm like published in like the American Conservative and shit. So as someone who's at least somewhat engaged in this whole like sphere, these people are fucking idiots. Like all these like dissident
Yeah.
rights people. Oh my god, they're all every single one of them, and they think they're so much smarter than they are because they think of like some kind of like they think that it's these people who are like the fucking I'm a Machiavellian, and it goes back to what our good friend Joe says. Well, if you're a Machiavellian, why the fuck are you telling me? You know?
Yeah, it's like this combination of Andrew Tate's like manosphere bullshit,
Yeah, with
and
Fuentes,
combined with like,
and all it ends up
well,
being is people who are like retarded, like the Hodge twins.
yeah, yes. Oh man, yes. And then
This is
and all this does, it culminates into Nicki Minaj showing up with Erica Kirk.
yeah. Oh my
Charlie Kirk is like, do
god.
not listen to Nicki Minaj. And instead, and then right after his death, they bring him up on stage. I'm telling you, when SAS happens, that's the Student Action Summit Turning Point has in the summer. I'm telling you, they're gonna have freaking Lily Phillips gonna be the next speaker because she just got baptized, even though she specifically said that she had that was like kind of like a show, just that she has no intention of changing her views or changing her content or deleting her content. She's just like got baptized
Yeah,
at
they know
some
it's
church.
in now, dude. They know it's in now. It's in
Yeah,
now. It's
she's
just
she's
they're
gonna be
marketing
speaking
to
at
it.
SAS, and
Is she
wouldn't it be the first
really?
time a
Is
porn?
she really?
I'm saying this no, this is
No, I know they
my
did have
theory.
that. They did have that one chick that one time, so it wouldn't
Okay.
be out of.
I'm
It wouldn't
I'm
be out of
saying it. I'm
place.
not gonna be surprised if she does show up to be like either was it a minor speaker or a major speaker at SAS, because they already had Brady Love show up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know, dude. It is kind of crazy how, like, these right wing
And that
people will pretend
Nala
that
girl was there
they'll
also.
they'll get so mad at libertarians for saying that prostitution should be legal, but then they are like actively supporting porn stars,
Yeah, I mean
which is like
Nala
you're
was there
literally
also.
doing the same thing, except
Yeah,
it's not accessible to me. It's accessible to the freaking wealthy, weird despots who are
yeah,
like, it's just terrible. It's just the worst thing in the world. You know, it's like it's not accessible to the average Joe, but instead it's accessible to like these mega corporations who could just ruin these women's lives and plaster it on every screen in America.
so true.
I think really, if you're gonna have a ban, it should be the inverse. You would think, but
I would think so. Yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
pretty crazy. I just think that like it also shows how hypocritical these people are, and I think that this last month, and I think really this was the story of all of 2025. Was
mm,
2025 was the year of the hypocrite. Basically, this administration, I, I don't think I've ever seen a greater example of just pure hypocrisy. Uh, Coming from this administration, the weird stuff around Charlie Kirk, the way they treated after he dies. I mean, especially since, I mean,
people are saying that she might have killed Charlie or whatever. I think that's bullshit. But she is definitely exploiting his death. Like she is definitely exploiting this whole gravy train to suck out as much as it's worth before she rides off into the sunset. Which the irony here is that because she's doing this, the gravy train is not going to be very valuable, especially since people make Turning Point out to be like it's this iconic student movement. But like outside of Charlie Kirk making it and like doing stuff with it, it previously had not existed, and it's not likely it's going to outlast him by that much.
Whenever people table, I mean, I'm always surprised when people said, when the people are asked, have you ever heard of Turning Point?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, what's that?
Yeah, I know. It's kind of surprising. It's kind of surprising.
It's very surprising.
Well,
I probably won't hear it anymore now.
This is why we need to really just do what we did, and this is all you have to do. And this is what I've been telling people. We need to stop with these big tent coalitions. If people have an idea that strays from the correct opinion, they shouldn't be in the movement. Is that crazy to think? That's what the left does. Like, if you have a bad idea, if your idea does not align with the principles that we set out to spread and enforce, maybe your voice shouldn't be leading our movement. And so I think that we're starting to get to the point where I think that, especially as like a dissident libertarian class, we really need to distinguish ourselves from the right and the left and cut off these weird alliances we have with either of them, and instead really become the voice of the independents. And that's what basically everybody in America is trying to seek. And that's the only thing that I think a third party could do really well, would be to try to achieve that middle lane, especially like where we are now. And it wouldn't have to be a third party, but we're going to have to stop trying to appeal to the right. I mean, I think that the appeal to the right continuously makes us lose. And I'm just tired. I mean, like, the old right
just as much
should be
too.
vanguard. Yes, exactly. and at the end of the day, I mean, if our options are just to basically suck the dicks of the Bismarckians versus the actual open socialist, I don't think either one of those alternatives is really viable for our movement. I think Trump was the closest thing electorally we had, but this betrayal of the base has been quite insane. And going into kind of moving away from Turning Point and everything, I think no story really emphasizes this betrayal of the base like this situation in Venezuela, and more hauntingly, the way people have just eaten up this whole situation. Like, not only is it that they've been betrayed, and this is what I think kind of makes it different than the Epstein situation, where the Epstein situation was so bad that it really hurt Trump's reputation. It is kind of crazy that we have kidnapped the leader of a foreign country, and the right just kind of cheered this on. Now, mind you, I mean, this really just shows how dumb the right wing is. It's the Fell For It Again award of all Fell For It Again awards.
It's hypocritical too. We're turning 2026 is easily turning into another year of the hypocrite.
Exactly,
because they want to go on and talk about no war with Iran, no war with Iran, but here we are, like, literally. If not, we've technically de facto declared war on Venezuela.
Well, here's what's crazy. No, it's not technically de facto.
It's not law. It's just
yeah. I mean, of course we didn't vote on it, but we clearly did it. I mean, we're at war with Venezuela. We literally went in there, kidnapped their president, killed a bunch of their soldiers, and stole a bunch of their oil tankers. And we said it was a declaration of war by them for maybe sending some cocaine to our country. Like, like if that's the declaration of war by the standard we're going off of here, how is the U.S. not at war? Like, how did we not go to war? And now we're saying we're looking at trying to occupy the country, find some way to create this new regime. It's a disaster, and the fact that makes it even more of a disaster is that it's a regime change where the regime is still completely intact. So it's like Maduro's gone, but we're still letting the commies run the country, and they're saying that there's not going to be elections anytime soon. It's just very clearly a nightmare scenario, and the right's just celebrating it like dogs. They've been given this bone to run away with because they've gotten nothing else, and it's going to be really interesting.
You don't understand though. This regime, these communists, these guys support Israel now.
Yeah,
If
pretty
you saw
much.
that I think the VP or whoever is now like interim in charge was talking about moving their embassy to Jerusalem.
No, that was the other lady. I think that was Machado.
Oh, was it? What is she in charge of?
She's not in charge of anything, but she was the one that won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Okay, I saw something about like I don't know if it was the person they were gonna elect. It was a party or the current
Yeah, it's
current
Machado.
leader.
She was the one that they wanted to put on as the leader, but they're not going to.
They're not going to, but no, maybe they might. Well,
Well, it's really more the fact that you got to remember, Keller, they still haven't couped the government, so
that's
they can't
true.
really put her in power. Currently, the vice president under Maduro is the current lady leading the country, and we'll see where that goes. But it's just kind of shocking. And again, I think that this is the bigger part of all of it. I mean, of course, how can you get bigger than military escalation in Venezuela that it seems is going to require a long-term U.S. presence? We don't know how long-term that's going to be. And there wasn't any U.S. servicemen killed, but it could easily become something larger, especially as we watch this situation unfold, where now that we've removed Maduro, there is a clash going on between the current Venezuelan government about who actually is going to succeed him, because the vice president is kind of a reformist, but the military, when in Latin America, if you don't have the military on your side, it usually ends up being a disaster of a coup. The military seems to still be loyal to the hardliners and Maduro. So who knows what will end up actually happening in Venezuela. And what's even funnier is that they keep talking about how this was for the oil, and then Chevron and these U.S. companies are saying they're not going to invest in Venezuela because it's too unstable. So they're not going to get any oil.
Fantastic.
I know. It's the biggest fell for it again award of all fell for it again awards. This is just Marco Rubio getting us involved into a foreign conflict in Venezuela that will have long-term consequences that will not be good for America. And we're going to have to spend a lot more money that we don't have because essentially we get ourselves into these sunken cost fallacies. So it's pretty much yet again another American disaster. But I don't even know, like, it's just shocking to me that people keep falling for this. And people that we think would be better. I mean, like, for instance, Matt Walsh was a big one that I saw on social media, who's just defending like nothing else. I guess he has to give his boss some love every once in a while, but he's just defending like nothing else this war in Venezuela, and all these other right wingers too. And I was just really shocked. I was like, after everything, after Iraq, and even crazier too. Did you see where people were saying, "Well, this isn't Iraq, so therefore, you can't compare the two." And it's like, I don't even see the argument there. I think that, sure, yes, Venezuela is not Iraq. When someone says that Venezuela is going to be like Iraq, They're not saying it's going to be jihadists doing terrorism in the middle of the desert. They're saying that there's the potential when we invade this country for it to have second-order consequences that we can't predict, and we don't know where that will go. It's not hard to see where there can be comparisons between the radical elements in the Middle East and the cartels that are already active in a lot of these areas, and now are probably going to be empowered. I mean, it's the same thing as the war on terror. We're probably going to be using this justification for ending the drug war. And this is the thing with Colombia as well. If we did topple the current regime in Colombia, what would happen? Would the instability weaken or empower the drug lords? I think it's pretty obvious to see that when a government is weak and there's a lot of opportunities to get around
war crime can happen.
Yeah, I know. Is it shocking to believe that? And I would not be surprised if we do see an increase of drugs coming out of this area. And I think what this really is about really just Venezuela being aligned with the third positionist. Like it's kind of in the BRICS orbit. So America wanted to get rid of them because they basically ticked off all three of the major hawks. They ticked off the Russia hawks, they ticked off the Iran hawks, and they ticked off the China hawks. So they just all decided we're going to get rid of them, and it also helps the popularity of the Florida voters.
I think the real reason is because Maduro didn't recognize the country of Albania.
That's a good thing. That was what he should have done.
That's why we did regime change. I saw
God
all on
bless Serbia. We hate Albania.
I saw all on Albania Twitter, like people were praising the fact that the U.S. did that because Maduro didn't like Albania.
This is a sign. This is a sign, Keller. This is a sign that you're allied with the wrong side.
Are you pro war now? Are you pro war because Maduro didn't like Albania? Now he's like in the Diddy jail. Oh, is that what it is?
No. It's the other way around. Yes, what I'm saying to you. Are you pro war now because he doesn't support Albania? I think that shows that he's a great ally to Serbia, and we should have just left him alone.
Okay.
This is known. The correct opinion on all international affairs is just to basically look at a chart, see which one's friendlier with Serbia, and whatever side's friendlier to Serbia automatically wins because Serbs did everything, just like that one historian lady said.
Yeah, exactly. So true, I guess. I don't know.
Oh man. But yes, Venezuela, the right I mean, the Iran strikes were bad, but at least with the Iran strikes, it was like Israel fought the war pretty much. And Trump got the Iranians not to bomb them, and they really only struck the bases. But this is, if you can't see where this could go wrong, and the fact that it seems like the administration has no plan, and this is why celebrating so early was so stupid, is because this is not a situation that's going to be solved in a day. Kidnapping Maduro was the easy part. Now we have to figure out what actually happens in Venezuela. And I don't think the administration has any idea of what they're going to do for that.
They have concepts of a plan, don't worry.
They have concepts of a plan, yes. And it is amazing to see the right wing once again host up their mission accomplished banner on day one of a war.
Real.
But
crazy.
It's going to be crazy when all these people, like 3 years down the line, are saying the same thing that we already said. The grift is real, dude. But at least if we stay honest about it, maybe it'll lead to us getting a sponsor at some point. Come on, Kaushi. Come on, some kind of... I'll sell pills.
we'll show gold.
Yeah, I'll show gold, generic Viagra. I'll show anything. Just tell me what you need shilled. I'll shield the hair loss supplements. I'll shield the food boxes. I'll shield beer, wine. I don't know, whatever kind of subscription. VPNs. I'll show different VPNs on the same day.
Are we shilling Patriot Mobile?
Yeah. Just let me know. Just hit me up and we'll make sure to get the sponsors out there.
Patriot Mobile, please save us.
make us right-wing superstars. Make us more popular than Jaden.
ExpressVPN, please save us.
Beautiful. All right. Well, I guess we should move away from the international, back to the domestic.
Oh yeah, we're about to get another tizzy with the right wingers.
Oh man, this whole situation is a nightmare.
I'm gonna be honest. I have not actually watched the entire video. I just refuse to because.
do you want to try to watch it? We gotta watch it on stream. Let's get Keller's immediate reaction on stream.
Okay, let me bring.
No, I'll pull it up.
Oh, you can pull it up. Let me bring it into the.
Yeah, hold on. I'll pull it up. Let me see. I'll pull it up.
This dude.
Okay, where's the? I just want the video. I don't want all these people showing me the video.
Yeah, we don't need Brandon Tatum.
Yeah,
reaction.
We don't need people's. Where's just the? All right, I think this is it.
ABC News obtaining video today showing the moments leading up.
So,
Yeah, I just didn't watch it because I think I just seen everybody's like, I've seen both sides of the right. Well, I guess your dissident right, and then you also had like the libertarian right, like going at each other's throats about this.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy to watch that. Okay. I think I got it. Just. Okay. Here's the first video.
You're gonna have to share your screen.
Yeah, I'm sharing it now. All right. So here we are. Watch this.
It is a shocking video at the center of a national conversation. An ICE agent shooting at...
Okay, let's watch this again. They froze the part where she gets shot. What the heck? Well,
Yeah, I was looking at that.
let me see if I
So,
can find a better video. But either way,
The first ICE agent, he goes up to grab the door.
yeah, I'll show you the other video. There's another angle, but they got the angle from the actual officer. Here.
Okay.
ABC News obtaining video today showing. Today showing the. ABC News.
Okay, here we go. Look at this.
ABC News obtaining video today showing the moments leading up to and during the deadly shooting in Minneapolis involving federal agents. Behind the driver's seat of the maroon SUV, you see Renee Good. The video is believed to be taken by the ICE agent who fired the shots. Officers telling Good to get out of the car. She backs up, then forward, and shots are fired. The Department of Homeland Security says the ICE agent who fired the shots
There's
was
another angle.
Good.
Oh, he does. She does hit her.
In a statement to
Yeah, I mean, she clearly hits us.
Good saying on
Yeah.
Wednesday, January 7th, we stopped to
Now,
support
does an
Abrams
ICE
and
agent
missiles they had
have the ability to basically arrest this person?
That's the question I don't think people were asking, and I think actually probably is more interesting than the actual video, because the debate people have been having is essentially
whether or not it
over.
was a justified shooting. But
Yeah.
or like, why was the ICE agent going over to her door to pull her out? Does he have the authority to do that?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking from the beginning. Was does the ICE agent actually have the authority to pull over and do that with an American citizen? Especially when I would be interested in seeing how they prove that such a person was directly hampering them. Like I guess the argument would be that she was blocking the roadway, right? But if she's blocking the roadway, that still seems like she's blocking traffic that isn't related to them. So
Sure.
so it's in the snowy out. I mean, make an argument that maybe something's wrong with the vehicle. I don't think that's accurate, but they're definitely trying to stop them. But
Yeah.
I
But she
don't
does
think that
hit
could
the
be.
dude.
She does hit the dude, and I think that's
Yeah.
really. I mean, that's another conversation in and of itself. I think that really the argument on that is basically, was it justified for him to shoot based on like how she hit him? Because I mean, she does back up and everything, so she's clearly not trying to hit him. He's not actually in any real danger. He got like barely sideswiped, and he didn't even fall over or anything. So
It looks like he did like. It looks like he did trip. Like it hit his his right leg, I think.
yeah, I
Like,
mean,
in
it
that
clearly
stick
hits
angle.
his leg, but he doesn't fall. You watch the full video, he doesn't fall or anything. So, I mean, and he already has his gun out, and there's something with, like the way it hit the window, where the bullet hole clearly goes in when he's already out of the
Now, is there
way.
gonna be? Was there any talk of like investigating this? Like they're gonna end up doing like because I know Lex comparing this to another George Floyd thing.
They are, and what's interesting is that the administration seems to be giving him a lot of immunity here. Where they're trying to not have a trial, is my understanding. I'm not super tuned into it, but my understanding is that the administration is doing a lot to try to protect him.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about a possible investigation into
And they really don't want him to be tried in Minnesota. That's another thing that I think's worthy of note, is that they're trying to have it so he's not tried in Minneapolis.
Well, that's gonna be a biased jury.
Well, I mean, obviously he's in Minneapolis. Yeah, I guess that's probably me.
It won't be of his peers. It's
the
gonna be
problem
a
is, yeah.
12 Somalians.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be biased either way. I mean, that's the thing, is that they're just trying to move it from one court that's more biased in the way they want to the way that they don't want. So, I mean, it's just, and I guess there probably is an argument, and I would probably agree with this, that the federal jury is probably less biased than the Minneapolis jury. But yeah. Oh, speaking of Minnesota and the Somalis, we haven't even touched on that. Keller, how do you think that the Renee Good situation interacts with the Minnesota Somalis?
I don't think there's a connection. I think those are two separate instances. Other than the fact that it really just shows-
immigration. It's about the ICE agents.
I mean, it is, I guess, in that sense. But I mean, the fraud stuff, which is just so obvious, I don't think has. I mean, like, like, come on, like the I forget the dude's name already, Nick Shirley or something like that.
Yeah.
Clearly showed that. I mean, and it's not just the learning centers.
Yeah,
There was some other video. There's some other videos that they were buying up houses in Minneapolis. It might have been in Minneapolis. They're buying up houses and like basically categorizing these houses as healthcare centers.
I've heard about this too.
And they're getting grant money for healthcare, and they're buying all these houses. We've seen the guy We've seen video of the guy who's like I don't know, I think he was like talking to a news agency. They're like, they're all in these expensive clothes and they're driving these cars, and I mean it's clearly fraudulent. Like the next thing you know, they're showing other videos and other follow-up interviews. I think there's one with some dude, I forget, some other YouTuber influencer dude that lives there, going up and doing doing another interview with them, and they welcome him in. There's kids all around. All of a sudden, it goes from a bunch of no kids to a bunch of kids after all this stuff comes out, and it's not like they're all Somali kids. Like they just called in all their friends and family and said, "Hey, come drop your kids off real quick because they had this interview."
Yeah.
Like it's not surprising, um, at all. So like it's not like it's not obvious that there's fraudulent going on. I would do that. I would do that if I had a chance. It's to like call my place healthcare center, and they're not gonna get prosecuted because it's racist. It's racist to prosecute them. We're just and bigoted and xenophobic to us poor Somalis, in our expensive BMWs, in our department store clothes, in our leering centers. Really, you want me to? Oh, there was another one. I think it was the same guy. They also went to places that were considered health insurance, and they wouldn't let them get rates in quotes, and they called the police on they called the police on him. Like, why would you do that? Why, if you were, it's funny, the mob would set up pizza storefronts, but you go in, you say I like a pizza, they'll look at you funny, but they'll give you a pizza and say it's $5 and then get you to go out there because it's a front for whatever front they're having. But at least they try. They try to keep up with appearances and the mob. But they like just straight up didn't even like engage with them. So it's very clear that there's something shady. If not, then okay, what? They're discriminating? They're only giving out health insurance to Somalis? Then that's a whole other thing. Now you got discrimination stuff going on. Then Nick should sue them for not giving them. I've been discriminated against based on my race.
Mm-hmm.
And they either have to come out and say, well, we don't actually sell insurance though, or they have to say we only give it out to Somalis.
Which either
I don't
seem like a very optimal outcome.
No, it's just very clear that they're the massive fraud. And if I remember correctly, I think the Minnesota government was in on this. I saw a little bit of something. Either they're unwilling, they're either in cahoots with them, or they're unwilling to to uproot it. It was something along those lines. But yeah, that's like super crazy. If anybody else did that, like I said, the Italians did that, they would have RICO charges up and out the wazoo by now.
Yeah.
But the mob is a lot smarter than that. It will actually give you a pizza just from their money laundering restaurant.
well, the Italians should know this. Rome wasn't built in a day. So just give the Somalis some time, and then maybe we'll have our own version of the Mujahideen mafioso.
Exactly.
That's all we need. Every pond, they just wait for a bigger fish. The Somalis have become Minneapolis's bigger fish. So much so that the lesbian woman got shot and died defending them.
Yeah, and people okay, not only are they comparing to George Floyd, which is a funny comparison considering that they're also the left is like going berserk over like us not particularly caring about this person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, but you got mad at us about Charlie Kirk. Well, Charlie Kirk,
still was an outstanding person. This person abandoned her husband and children to have like a lesbian relationship.
Children.
Yeah.
She abused her children to the point that the father had the full custody of it.
Yeah,
of the kid.
I heard about this as well. Yeah.
I mean, it was just like with George Floyd, like pointing a gun at a pregnant lady's
belly. Well, at least George Floyd didn't hit the officer.
Exactly.
I think George Floyd. My take on this was that George Floyd actually committed less of a crime.
Yeah, he just had a
Because-
fake $20 bill.
Yeah, he had a fake $20 bill, aka all $20 bills, because all $20 bills are printed by the government, which counterfeits the money. So I don't really care. It's not really a crime if the government's going to do it. I mean, it is, but there's no difference to me between them doing it and him doing it. So if they're doing it, I can't feel that bad about him doing it. And fentanyl, which is also not a crime in my book. I mean, it shouldn't be used, but I don't think you should be like killed for it. I mean, obviously he was killed for it, so there you go.
He was killed by it.
Killed by it, yeah. I mean,
Let me be clear.
I do think Derek Chauvin. I mean, it's kind of a weird situation where, ironically, George Floyd probably did commit less of a crime, but Derek Chauvin was probably still less in the wrong for his death. If you know what I mean, if that makes any sense at all. Where, like, she did hit the guy, and she was blocking the intersection. So him shooting her is, I mean, like, it probably was not warranted, and he did just kill a lady. But, like, you gave him the opportunity to, and with these ICE agents and like, I mean, it's like your cousin who does backyard wrestling it, or like some like random hillbilly that they recruited from like some Twitter ad that's in these agencies now, or some third generation border kid who is himself like 75% Mexican, but he doesn't want any more coming over the border. These people are not people that are really necessarily the most stable, and they seem to be out in full force pretty aggressively. So I don't know. It's kind of all over the place. It's hard to take a strong stance either way. I just think really what's more interesting to me than everything is just how blatantly clear both sides are acting like this is. Where if it's on the right, clearly she was trying to kill him and hit him with a car. While on the left, it's clearly that this woman is completely innocent and it was all self-defense, and she did nothing wrong, and she was just a saint and a martyr. She's just like Charlie Kirk. So
Yeah, real. I guess we are Charlie Kirk.
we are Charlie Kirk, dude. We've come all this way, and it sticks with us.
Did she carry the flame though? Did
No,
she
she
fight
clearly-
the gospel?
She did not carry the flame or fight for the gospel. But
She abused her 2 children.
yeah. So say what you will. Not very good, but America's just going through it. And you know what's funny is that this is happening, and I guess this is the transition, right? Is that this is happening at the same time as these protests in Iran. And I feel like we have the opportunity for citywide protest that could last multiple weeks. Of course, the irony is that if we do have citywide protests that last multiple weeks, nobody believes our government should be toppled because of it. So, as you know, and Keller himself is of Iranian descent, so we're going to utilize that for monetization purposes and have him speak about what he thinks about the situation in Iran. So as you know, Keller, there has been these, 12-day long protest in, started in, I don't remember what city it started in, but it spread across the entire country, about 500 dead, and even more wounded. But before we get into such an important matter, I am going to pause the stream to get another beer.
True.
All right. So after this brief intermission that you guys won't get because you're not recording the podcast, suck on it. We're gonna get into this issue. So I'll be right back. All right, we're back from our intermission. I have a beautiful Lucky Buddha beer. And it's actually, the glass bottle is carved like Buddha. So that's quite
Cool.
fascinating. So back to what we were talking about, Keller. Tell me what you think about Iran so far.
It's a mixed bag. Like I would like to see they want the Pahlavi monarchy to return, and that's great. That's great. But these protests are being bolstered by the West. And not just the West. We have also Israel being a part and instigating and promoting and encouraging these protests. I saw Bruce Pearl post about it.
Yep.
Uh,
It's all posting about it. Yep.
Oh yeah. And you have Laura Loomer who's saying, "Make Zoroastrianism great again, ditch Islam." And that's what I'm starting to see. Is that this is actually it's really stems from the feminist movement. That's the thing I hate about this. It's like it's not protesting really the regime in that they want to bring back. It's not Persian national. It's not a Persian nationalist revolution movement, whatever you want to call it. That's the thing. It's coming from a Western neoliberal place with an emphasis on getting rid of Khomeini so that we can have a more pro-Israel, pro-secular government in charge to bolster Israel. That's why Israel's promoting these protests. If you saw the girl who was like smoking, like lighting up her cigarette with a burning picture of Khomeini, she on Twitter, I follow her on Twitter, for obvious reasons, but she's a Persian Jew who doesn't even live in Iran. She lives in Canada. And that picture was actually 2 years ago that she did in Canada, but she's a Persian Jew. And so
2 years ago, you mean for the other protest that was the exact same thing?
Probably so. It was 2022.
Yeah,
technically.
2020. No, I think wasn't it 2023 was the last time they had the protest in Iran, and again, it was the exact same thing. Where they were trying to push that it was like, this is the one that are going to finally overthrow the regime, and we're going to put Pahlavi back on the throne, and nothing's ever going to happen. I mean,
and I even seen some from some Middle Eastern like independent news sites, like denouncing this idea that that Iran should turn to a Pahlavi monarchy.
Well,
so
yes,
you gotta have this democratic, government that's friendly to Israel, and
but it's not going to be democratic because if they go against what they want, and this is the part
it's going to end up being like
the Shia still are going to be like like people forget that like in the last Iranian election, and Iran is not a dictatorship. It does have elections, even though they are controlled, but they do have elections. And it's more free and fair than it's definitely more fair than Russia. I mean, the guy who's the current president, this Prigozhin guy, he's a liberal. I mean, he actually is. He's part of the Liberal Party, which won in the last election. But you have to also remember, in that election, about 30 million people voted, and he won by about 55%. But about 13 million people still voted for the hardline Muslim party. And the other 44%. So, it's not nearly as clear cut that you can just get rid of those people, right? And I don't think that's very likely. And as well, again, this is back to what I was talking about with the 2022 and the Minneapolis and the George Floyd protest, is that and a lot of times in these not third world, but American opposed countries, because there's American allied countries that are also third world. Iran really isn't third world. It's probably more like second world. The economy is really bad, and you'd think that if it wasn't for the West trying to oppose them, they probably would have toppled by now. But in a lot of ways, we've propped them up. But really, these protests, when they happen, a lot of times because we're opposed to the government, we exaggerate the impact of said opposition to make it look like this is the protest that will finally bring down the regime. And like it's in this many cities over this much of a span. while like we ignore the fact that we never treat our own protests the same way. So to assume that the Iranians having a big protest means that this is going to be the Arab Spring that finally liberates the Iranians from their regime, oftentimes really isn't about showing support for the people in Iran. It's really to get the propaganda wheels turning so that they can get popular support to invade Iran and topple the government and use the U.S. military to do so, which is what they've already been speaking about under the current administration.
Yeah. Yeah. And what exactly? I mean, really, the only real thing that's been like being protested, you see all the time in the news, is really just like the burqa bans.
Yeah, pretty
Like
much.
this is a massive feminist movement of just not wanting to wear a piece of cloth. Like,
yeah. Well, but this time it's a little bit different. This time it really is. It started as an economic protest. A lot of the small business owners really got up in a fit over Iran's strict policies. So I understand where the sentiment's coming from, and I mean,
Yeah.
you always hope that that people can overcome authoritarian regimes, and if it benefits us politically, that's a nice thing, I guess. But the fact of the matter is that it seems like outside players are trying to use this as a justification, especially
that's the big
since
problem.
especially since it doesn't seem like it's actually going to topple the regime, at least not naturally. They're trying to use it as a justification for U.S. military intervention to topple the regime.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm trying to kind of get at. It's like it's not a real protest in the sense that we want to return to the way Persia was back in like the 70s.
Well, that's why
this
is why they're endorsing the Pahlavis and not the Qajars.
Exactly, yeah.
Keller doesn't
for different reasons.
Yeah, so do you know about House Qajar?
I actually don't.
Okay, so House Qajar is the real house of Iran. Pahlavi is essentially a puppet. So House Qajar was the house that ruled Iran from about the 1700s till about 1920. Then the British used House Pahlavi as a way to coup House Qajar and take a bunch of the oil interest in the country. And then Pahlavi lost some power to Mohammad Mossadegh, who was the president of, or I guess he was prime minister. Either way, he was a liberal who was really the, I guess, real first democratic leader in Iran in like the 50s. And then the U.S. government couped Mossadegh because he wanted to nationalize the oil from the British, who had nationalized the oil from them. And so them and the British couped Mossadegh and put in power the Shah. And so the Shah ran from about 57 to, this is Pahlavi and his son, 57 to like 70, the 70s when they finally got overthrown. And the revolution and the coming of the Ayatollah was largely seen as a rejection of the Western interventions that had put the Shah in power in the first place, ironically because of the Shah also creating a economic crisis largely in relation to hyperinflation. So it seems like the only way that Iran's going to get out of this is not by being anti-American or pro-American, but really taking a non-intervention, non-aligned middle path, which this most certainly will not be.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Now, I was not aware of this house.
Yeah, so Qajar was the original ones. Pahlavi, he was a military guy, and he couped the Qajar. And so the Qajars, because I am a defender of all the lost causes, including the greatest one of all time, I support House Qajar and not those evil Pahlavis who only have two Shahs and not entire dynasties.
I would agree. There's some kind of iffiness about some of these guys, but
Yeah, well, I think they're Azerbaijani. It comes with the territory. It's Azerbaijan tech.
so true.
So either way, it is really shocking to watch. And I think a lot of this has to do with Venezuela and Iran as well, though, right? Where now that they have the blood's in the water, they're ready to go out and seize more. But even if they do go out and do successfully topple these regimes, all it's going to do is get us more embroiled in expanding this empire, which is doomed to finally collapse. And really, we're sowing our own demise. And this is what these people fail to understand, is the way that these military interventions sow the demise of America, basically by getting us embroiled in conflicts, extending the empire, and bleeding the resources that should remain instead in the pocket of the American people. And the only way we're going to make America better is by keeping what we produce in our own pocket. Sadly, instead, it seems like we're going to be using it, all of it wasted, to get Trump's regime change in Iran after he's betrayed everything he's ever said. So, if that's any reason never to vote Republican again, I don't know what better reason there is. But it would take a shocking amount. Like, the candidate would have to be like Ron Paul at this point for me to trust those guys. It is shockingly bad how they just completely lied to everybody. And the only people who ever have a coherent vision, and it's because they're Trotskyist and they do actually do what the left does. They do actually exclude people who don't agree with their ideology, and they do actually use funding in ways that benefit them, the neocons. They're the only ones who are successful. So until the libertarians embrace a revolutionary model that basically targets this sort of not revolutionary in like any sort of straying from value sense, but just in strategy sense. Until we get to that point and we do what actually works, we're just going to continue to fail. And the way you're going to do that is by having a stricter grasp on who's allowed to be voicing opinions within the movement, who we're accepting of. Now, where that line lies, I feel like, is the real question. But until we actually have a vanguard or something to defend the ideology, an actual core collective, our own Buckley figures, kind of how Rothbard used to be, we're going to get nowhere.
Real.
Speaking of grifters going nowhere, and until then, Ashley St. Clair. Would you like to speak on this, Keller? This is your 5-minute power hour, because I don't even know what's going on here. I just know the court concubine probably wasn't able to cash her child support check, so she's mad right now.
No. Basically, you're absolutely hitting on the nail. Ashley St. Clair was on Twitter going off about now being like dark woke, which is just okay. So James Lindsay, we all know what James Lindsay with his little crusade against the woke right is really just a projection of what the woke right really is.
Yeah.
And this is a prime example of what the woke right really is. I've been told the woke right doesn't exist. You know, James Lindsay made it up, and that's partially true. But I disagree that there isn't a woke right. It's just we're defining it wrong.
I agree with that. I think that this is something that people
prime
do.
Example.
Well, the woke right, they've accused the old right, but the old right is the only right who's actually right wing. Like, we're not woke. We believe that the Confederacy did nothing wrong. Like, what are we talking about here? like, no, you're woke because you believe power justifies the invasion of a people, when our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence says, in the course of human events, when consent of government is defined by the governed. And if people lose their consent, it's gone. Huh?
I would more broadly define it as, like, what does it mean to be woke, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be woke is to be aware of racial, gender, things that the left would be all on about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, okay, so it kind of ties in with like the new Turning Point Rise,
Yep.
which used to be called Black Xitter because of the cutting off of Candace Owens.
Yep.
It's now called Rise, Turning Point Rise, which is really just a arm of Turning Point where we tokenize what we would of conservative ink, speakers and influencers to say the right isn't racist, or the right, isn't what's the word, homophobic. The right isn't, Islamophobic. Look at our black, gay, Jewish, lesbian people we have here, and Ashley St. Clair kind of really does this again, because now that she's trying to get back on Elon Musk's good side, now she's reneging, or I guess what she actually did on Twitter was apologize for her transphobic behavior.
Well, no, it's the opposite. She's on Elon Musk's bad side because she's talking about Elon's trans daughter.
What the tweet is she's referring to his transgender son as referring to him as she, using, and somebody called her out on this, and she's like, yeah, I regret that. And it's doing the opposite. She's not going the warpath.
Well, it's
She's trying to
well, it's because at the end of the day, Ashley Sinclair is a syncretic grifter who should never have been trusted in the movement to begin with.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I feel like we need to have an IQ test for anybody who's going to be considered a quote-unquote leader.
Exactly. But this is a part of the broader idea of what the woke right is now using identity politics in order to get more people on the conservative side, now whatever that even means nowadays.
Yeah.
By being more inclusive, right? By having a lot more, black people talking about being conservative, and like what was that dude's name? Joel Patrick, pulling out his like white privilege card or whatever, and doing all the goofy stuff, all these different kind of like black conservative influencers do, to show that there's no white privilege and there's only black privilege, and it's just all it's tokenization. We're bringing it, we're getting her Blair White, we're giving like Blair White a bigger voice now, and it even goes to like the freaking prostitutes. That even we talked about that.
It's crazy too, because they
being more inclusive in the conservative movement is what the woke right is.
It's crazy too, because they're really, what part of it is really becoming like the left, and this is what the right always does. They're just 20 years behind. They're just doing the same thing the Democrats did, where they have to have their token people to basically prove they're not bad. The problem is that the Democrats have already realized that's not actually popular, and that's going to go nowhere.
Exactly, and they really just own up. Like I don't know if you saw this on Twitter with the DHS posting. I was shown this a couple hours ago, earlier today, like of the DHS posting like the Pine Hill riot song, we'll have our home again, and it's like it's to the tune of a shanty. I forget the name of the shanty, but it's to the tune. It's like, by God, we'll have our home again. By God, we'll have our home. I mean, maybe you've heard of it. It's like it's a very niche, esoteric right wing song that I don't think is even on Spotify anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And and like first of all, we're not having our home. This is supposed to be, the DHS is posting this, so it's like we're getting all these like it's shitty propaganda because we're not getting the deportations that we've been expecting.
Yeah. And this is another thing I saw with the Venezuela thing, where people were talking about, oh, this is going to be so great, we're going to send all the people back there.
But they're posting it as that song is distinctly a dog whistle.
Yeah.
distinctly for European Americans, heritage Americans, and they're trying to include it. They're trying to be inclusive, and I see everybody posting about it. Oh, this is awesome. That song is not meant for a broad audience. It's not meant for an inclusive audience, but the DHS is posting it as because all Americans, whether you're a first generation immigrant or a heritage American, it doesn't really matter because magic soil. And so it's just another example of the woke right, and people are praising this. Everyone on the right, it's praising this as we're so back, and it's bro, are we?
They're so dead, dude.
Minnesota is overrun by
in the midterms.
Somalis.
Midterms are already lost, dude. It's so
Exactly.
gone. I mean, I wouldn't even I would put money on it. I would put money on the Democrats going crazy. I'd go on Cauchy, and this is not financial advice, but I would probably bet money that the Democrats are going to kick people's asses. I mean, the administration looks terrible. I mean, they look terrible. I mean, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? What, between now and 2026 elections, are the Republicans going to do that is going to fix the situation? We know that the Venezuelan oil is going to be a disaster. They might get us into another situation in Iran, which I don't know, what we think is going to happen there. Nothing good. This Minneapolis thing has basically given us the next George Floyd riots. And
it's already happening.
Yeah, and if it continues, now we have all the people who used to support him. A lot of them are even just turning against him, basically out of the grift. I think some of them are on ideological grounds. I think a lot of it's just out of grift. I think everybody can see the winds of change coming. I think Tucker Carlson being so anti the administration is the most telling sign. And fundamentally, it seems like either there's really two ways this could go, right? And this is kind of what I'm thinking from the theocracy perspective, right? Because clearly they have J.D. Vance there and in the wing, and they want to use him, right? And they've put way too much money in this problem.
Exactly.
I think there's a really good chance that they're trying to screw the administration so they can get Trump impeached and so that Vance is the president.
Which would only make things worse.
Yeah, I mean, it would only make things worse, but he'd probably end up winning. And so it's really just if they can get their guy so they don't have to have a primary. Because if they have a primary, it's going to be a wide field. And if it's a wide field, they're not going to be able to control who it is. But if they do not have a primary, they can just shoe in Vance. I mean, that's what they want. So,
very true.
So I'm pretty hopeless about that. The irony is that the Democrats probably think that they are going to do some big things coming up this midterm, and we're really going to shake things up, and while simultaneously playing exactly into the hands of Peter Thiel. So that's great. Speaking of troublesome things in the economy, I guess we should move on to this last story. Jerome Powell. And this is where the economics geek in me really, really wants to shine.
Fresh news, too.
Fresh news happened within the last 3 hours. The federal prosecutors opened a criminal investigation into Jerome Powell, the current Federal Reserve chair. A lot of this is... and then, of course, Jerome Powell used the Federal Reserve basically to say that this was the administration directly targeting him because he doesn't want to politicize the lowering of the interest rates. As much as I hate to say it, I think Powell is in the right. I think the administration has clearly started this war over with Powell, not because of any sort of legal, real reasoning. He doesn't really strike me as a crook. He might strike me as, obviously, I mean, he's a government tool, but I don't really think he did anything corrupt. It really just seems like they are trying to do everything they can to get him out of there so they can put this new guy they want in there and lower the interest rates as they want to, which of course will quote unquote stimulate the economy, aka malinvest all of our money because it's not the natural interest rate, and in the long term lead to a declining America.
Well, yeah, this is definitely being targeted because Trump has said that he wants to get interest rates down to 1% now.
Yeah, like 1%. He's spoken about 1% down to 0%. Does this economy seem like an economy that needs a 1% interest rate? But I guess we're just not supposed to think about the future at all. I think that really this is a telling sign that once Trump leaves office, or unless Vance gets in there and they can prolong it, like the Japanese essentially were able to do. And people talk about the influences of Chinese politics on America. The more and more we go on, the more and more this financial situation, the way our economy runs, really mirrors Japan. And Japan has a 200% debt to GDP ratio. They've basically economically stagnated, but they continue to lower the interest rate lower and lower and lower. And I hope that maybe, just maybe, it would spur growth. At least China seems to have kind of gotten things under control. They're also a heavy inflationist, manipulative economy, but they're not spending all their money on foreign wars, so at least their debt's going to building bridges, even if they do fall down.
Yeah.
So
even if they're made out of styrofoam.
Yeah, exactly. So at least there's some sort of benefit on the actual people of the homeland's life, even if the money's stolen and it's used inflationarily. It's still not as stupid as using it to change the government of Afghanistan and then losing. So, really, there's not much we can say in this whole situation, except that this might be, this Christmas, I mean, obviously we're trying to spend times with friends and family, but between when we left and when we came back, this might be one of the most doomer periods I've experienced in a while. Basically, everything that did not need to happen has happened.
Which means nothing has happened.
Yeah, which means nothing has happened. And the administration, I know he's talking about doing these new checks, which this ties into the Federal Reserve, where we're actually getting the money. The tariffs aren't paying for anything. And here's the big news. It's likely either this week or next, we're going to get the Supreme Court to actually finally give their opinion on the tariffs. So there's a good chance they could get shot down within the next 2 weeks. Because of course he's levying a tax. Taxes are supposed to be levied by the Congress. So if the Congress, tariffs are a tax, and he levied it through executive order, and not through congressional order, it's unconstitutional, and the Supreme Court can invalidate it. And there's probably a really good chance that ends up happening. So, sorry to our good old friend Sean. It seems like those probably will not stand. If they do stand, just be ready for more economic stagnation and no new manufacturing jobs. Just like the new polls showed, that even though these new tariffs have been implemented on the American economy, factory jobs have decreased, I think it is about by 50,000. So, once again, you fell for it. That's really, I think, the main conclusion of this episode is that everyone's just fallen for it again. We're living through George W. Bush all over again, and the right has learned absolutely nothing. The left cannot learn anything, so they're ready to do whatever they want to do, which is going to be some kind of ineptness. And it seems like we just need to come to the conclusion that the right wing can't either. So we need to detach ourselves from this bubble, these people. I mean, there's no reason that, I mean, obviously, we want to be popular, and I think you should go on people's shows and interview who you want to or whatever. But there's no reason that we should be considered on the same side as like Nick Fuentes or any of these kind of figures or any kind of person like that. They're all revisionist. They're all, I mean, and even Fuentes especially. I mean, like, did you see what he said about Venezuela? Of course he came out and supported it. He's Latino. What do you expect? But either way,
Oh, excuse you, Latinx.
yes, he's Latinx. You're right. He's Latinx. But either way, these people, these are all just the revisionists, and all they're trying to do is destroy the right wing. Really, we need to kill any influence they have and create a vanguard that can actually control the movement and the ideology and just get rid of these people. And I think the libertarians have often been in a good position for it, but we can't waste our opportunity. We've been in the online sphere forever, but now these people have started to become online. We need to take and seize the moment. Otherwise, we're going to get overrun by the Thiel people, or much worse, these neo-Nazis and these leftists. So, I really do think it is time to break off these coalitionist ambitions and just strike our own path. And we don't need a party per se. I think that when we submit ourselves to parties like the Libertarian Party, you're not actually separating from the establishment. You're trying to play within the system. I think that the only way we're going to move forward as a third, as an alternative, is essentially to not play the political game at all and strive to get political change external to the political order. Whether that be on a state level or through alternative means, but we need to accept that the federal government is completely lost. Not only is it completely lost, but it needs to be destroyed.
Real. It's just crazy.
It is just crazy, and no one's willing to do it. But that's why we have this show. We can say a few things about it, and just hope people can see how much of a disaster this is all becoming, while we drink and enjoy ourselves. Maybe we're drinking ourselves into misery. Who really knows? But what can you say except everything's fucked? Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year.
Kwanzaa's over. I think Kwanzaa's over.
No, I think Christmas is over too, but we still said it anyways.
That's true.
Orthodox Christmas might be still going on. And then the Lunar New Year's coming up. How does your feng shui look coming up into this Lunar New Year?
It's not looking good, actually.
Yeah. How do you know? What do you figure? This year's a pivotal year for me. It's a year of the horse, and that's my birth year.
Year of the what?
Year of the horse.
Year of the horse.
Yeah, so this coming up Lunar New Year is going to be the year of the horse. It's not yet. I don't remember what day the actual Lunar New Year is on.
I would have said it's going to be in April or May.
No, it's usually in like February. February 17th.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
February. Oh, okay.
17th and 23rd.
I know that Nowruz starts like March 21st, whatever the equinox.
Yeah, well, they don't have the Lunar New Years aren't actually aligned. I mean, that's why the what's the Jewish one? Theirs ends in like September.
Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, Rosh Hashanah. So, but Chinese New Year's coming up on the 17th of February.
We'll have to see.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
this is supposed to be a year of great high stakes and high rewards, along with many inflection points. So
inflection points.
So I'm preparing myself coming into the Lunar New Year.
I got a lot of high stakes going on.
Yeah, well, it depends. No, it depends on what your character is. Because I'm a horse, but I'm a water horse, and this year is the year of the fire horse.
Is this Chinese astrology?
Yeah.
What's my horoscope?
I'm
a Cancer. So what is this?
Well, I'm telling you my horoscope. I'm getting my horoscope. I don't know what your horoscope is, and I don't trust Cancers anyways. That's That's Greek. That's Greek astrology. Get that shit out of here. We only do the Chinese astrology here. What year were you?
2001.
Okay. So 2001 was the year of the snake. Last year was the year of the snake. So, let's see.
Snake.
Yeah.
Enigmatic, intelligent, and wise. Well, that's very true.
Yeah, so what was
Black, red, and
2001
yellow.
though?
Let's see. I'm looking at it right now. Let's see. 1986.
Was it a fire snake or was it a
snake? 2001 is the year of the snake.
Well, I know that, but is it like what element?
Element.
Yeah, there's an element that goes with it. You were the metal snake. You were solid snake, dude. Holy shit. That goes so hard. That goes so hard. What? Yeah, specifically January 24th, 2001 to February 11th, 2002. So if your birthday falls in that area, you would be...
Wait. 2001, January to February 11th, 2002 says gold snake.
Yeah, it's metal snake.
Okay.
There's 5 elements. There's metal, wood, or like plants or whatever. Fire, earth, and water.
Gold, water, and wood.
Yeah.
It's telling me gold. Well, but I guess metal.
Yeah, you're solid snake. So let's see. Let's get your Chat GPT horoscope. This is how we're gonna close out the episode, by getting Keller's Chat GPT.
I mean, I'm looking at it right now. It says, in career-wise, in 2026, your career prospects will soar. Influenced by the auspicious Wen Chang star, you'll burst with creativity, especially if you're in artistic fields. Artistic fields?
Yeah, but you're not.
Recognitions from clients and company leaders.
You're not in artistic fields, Keller, so that's...
I basically am. I just started redoing, I'm going to start learning how to do, like, Persian poetry, so...
Oh, well, nice. So there you go.
Yeah. My financial system will also be favorable in 2026. Besides regular income, I might receive it. Dude, the $2,000 checks are going to be coming. Because my horoscope, I might receive an unexpected windfall.
Oh man, I would not mind the $2,000 check. I mean, of course, it's gonna be terrible long term for.
I could use.
Well, ChatGPT says that this is not going to be a comfortable year for you.
Well, ChatGPT can be wrong sometimes.
Year favors those who maintain internal discipline while allowing external flexibility. Resistance leads to fracture.
In 2026, you'll have new opportunities in love. If you're single, you might meet your destined partner this year. Oh, I don't know. That's what I mean. High stakes. We got some high stakes going on. I made a very risky bet.
High stakes, anyways. Mine's basically pretty similar.
Hold on.
What site are you using? What site are you using?
ChinaHighlights.com.
Okay, let's see what China
/travel guide.
Let's see what ChinaHighlights.com says.
It says my health may decline. Unexpected energies. Be extra cautious using sharp tools at home.
That's so crazy.
That's not good. So I might die this year, but I might also find my wife, I guess. The $2,000 check, I might end up spending it on the...
Yeah, it's high stakes, high reward, like mine. This is basically, I think, how this year's supposed to be. My lucky colors are yellow and green. Where did I see...
Dude, Mao Zedong was also born in the year of the snake.
That's such a random thing to say. Okay.
He was a water snake.
Well, so he has my element. He has my element. How do you check these people? How are you checking these?
I'm on the Chinese highlight.
I'm on Chinese highlight too. I don't see all the stuff you're seeing.
Let me here. I could just
Chinese horoscope. Okay, Chinese horoscope.
Here's the exact link. John F. Kennedy was also born in the year of the snake, and he got shot. So
Yeah, that's not
I
a
don't know.
good sign, dude. That's not a good sign. But Mao had good upturns, so that's a good sign for you. It's possible. Who knows? Maybe it's either way.
Red, black, and yellow. Interesting. Maybe I need to get a cactus. It looks like.
Mm. This is very interesting. Well, on that note, we've gotten so off the rails that we've just discussed our Chinese zodiacs. Thank you everybody for watching this episode of the Destroyercon show. Hopefully by the time that we come back and do our next episode, we're not engaged in a war with Iran. And maybe just maybe something more hopeful happens. Either way, I wouldn't really count on it. And so I just hope to see you then. Keller, and make sure to like and subscribe as well. Keller, do you have any last words for the audience?
I don't. Just make sure you follow, subscribe. Check us out.
Yeah, follow
Share the podcast.
Share the podcast with
Follow
all
our
your friends,
Twitter.
families, your uncles that are probably going to get deported by ICE. Make sure to share it with them. Make sure to share it with your ICE relative who was formerly a backyard wrestler and now is in the ring. Share it to the Iranians, even though they don't have internet. It'll give them something to watch afterwards.
Yeah.
Regardless, we'll see you guys all next time. Love you all. Bob Weir died. Rip to the goat. The Great Fred, sadly, it seems, is officially over.
Dude, they're playing Terrapin Station with Why am I blanking on his name?
Station in the sky. Jerry and Bob
Jerry
Weir are
Garcia.
back. Yeah, Jerry and Bob Weir are back together in the sky playing Terrapin Station today. The longest version. Well, that's really that was the cherry on top for ruining my week. So, that was great. Love all y'all. Hopefully next week will be better. Bye-bye.